Donald Trump has been trying out a new talking point recently for his both his 2024 campaign as well as his legal defenses. And it's a talking point that, of course, has no basis in reality at all. But nevertheless, Donald Trump is using it both on the campaign trail and in court. And so far, it's not doing well for him at all. But that new talking point is this: all of my legal problems are because of President Biden. He is doing this to me as a form of election interference. And we've heard that phrase, election interference, for 2 straight years now. But here is what Donald Trump recently told reporters outside the courthouse on Thursday. My legal issues, every one of them, everyone, the civil and the criminal ones, are all set up by Joe Biden, crooked Joe Biden. Every single just about case that I'm involved in was set up by Biden. They're doing it for election interference. Every time somebody sees me in court, remember, Joe Biden and his thugs that surround him did it. So that's the talking point. Every time you see me in court, just remember it's because this guy did it. It's not because you supported an insurrection against the federal government by not sending the National Guard to stop your own supporters. It's not because you tried to launch a scheme to steal the 2020 election. It's not because you defrauded the banks and the government so you didn't have to pay as much on taxes or pay as much for interest rates on loans. It's not because you repeatedly defamed a woman by the name of E. Jean Carroll. It's not because you stole classified documents. Nope. Every single thing that you're facing is because of President Biden. And I love how he reiterated twice that everyone, even the state, even the civil ones, somehow Biden is behind him. For the record, President Biden, the Department of Justice, anything in Washington, D.C., has no say or control whatsoever over the state cases that Donald Trump is facing, right? The New York fraud trial, the criminal charges in New York over the Stormy Daniels hush money payment, as well as the Georgia RICO charges. The federal government's not involved in any of that. So there's no way Biden could have done those things. But knowing that takes an ounce of common sense. And Trump's not trying to sell this to people with common sense. He's trying to sell it to his cult-like followers. And they believe it. They absolutely believe that every one of his legal problems is because President Biden has directed this personally. As if President Biden is sitting in the White House all day with a group of advisors, evilly wiggling his fingers saying, what are we going to do next? How can we get this son of a bee? No, that's not a thing that has happened. But that's Trump's talking point. That's what he's going to go with. And here's where things get a little hairy for him. Recently, a new poll came out showing that 56% of the American public, 56%, a majority of the public, supports the criminal charges against Donald Trump. So he can go out there and sell this talking point all he wants, but he's selling it to a public that already believes he should be criminally prosecuted. So he's not going to win any new voters with this talking point. He may hold on to a couple who are on the fence already, but he's not going to gain any new voters. And that's where it really matters. He can't win an election with just the base that he has now. And I know you're like, but fair, and the other polls show Biden's losing to Trump, he's losing to Haley, he's losing to DeSantis. I've seen those polls too. I've also seen the margin of error of 4.7%, so I'm not putting too much stock in those. But the one that shows a majority of people actually do support the charges against him, that has a margin of error of only 2.5%. So yeah, I'm going to go with the most people saying that he should be prosecuted over all of those completely lopsided polls that oversample Republicans that are telling us that Biden's in deep trouble. Biden's in trouble, don't get me wrong, but it's not as bad as we think, and it's nowhere near as bad as Donald Trump's trouble. Ring of Fire is just a few subscribers short of hitting that 1 million subscriber milestone. So if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and do so and stay up to date with all of the latest from Ring of Fire.